Alright, Todd here with Jeep Speed Shop. Here we're going to talk about the 5.7 liter VVT Truck Hemi 2009 to 2018 and the 545 and 65 RFE, not the 8-speed. So we cannot use the 8-speed, but we can use the 65 RFE and the 545. Now, here is what I would consider your average takeout engine out of a Dodge Ram truck, half ton. Okay, it's important to be half ton because on the back, now it doesn't matter if it's two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, the 23 spline output, so you can reuse your Rubicon transfer case and your non-Rubicon transfer case. And this setup is for the 2007 to 2011 Jeep Wrangler, and like I said, it doesn't matter if it's Rubicon, non-Rubicon, two-door, four-door, none of that matters. This will all work. But this is I'm just doing this video so I can answer some questions on, you know, what engine, what transmission, what do I purchase, and so on, just to help guys out. And like I said, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, doesn't matter. This adapter unbolts, and you can put the two-wheel drive extension housing. This shaft is in the two-wheel drives and four-wheel drives. So all these transmissions are four-wheel drive transmissions from the start. Now, the only change between a four-wheel drive and a two-wheel drive is how the pan is laid out. So the pans are a little bit different on a two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Doesn't matter. You can use either. Now, if you get the engine and transmission separately, makes it kind of hard because you got to make sure you get this reinforcement piece. You got to get the intermediate plate because a lot of people forget that. Those are things, if the engine and transmission are separate, you got to make sure you get those things because you'll need them. This is like I think a 2014 Dodge Ram truck engine, 5.7 liter VVT. This is common. This engine's the same from 2009 to 2018, all exactly the same. So, but we always do half tons. So, for a few reasons. The half tons, they came, now this is the MDS, so the multiple displacement, and this plug is for the VVT. Now, the 3/4 tons don't have the multiple displacement, okay? So, you can do either engine, all right, but for our emissions legal carb setup, you have to use the half-ton engine, okay? If you're outside the state, don't care about carb, you're going to be off-road use only or whatever, you can use the 3/4 ton engine, but you got to be careful on the transmissions. It's got to be the 65 or the 545 because some of the transmissions in the 3/4 tons and 1 tons have a different output, which is like 29 spline, which won't work. You cannot get that to work. Gear ratios are wrong, the whole bit. So you got to make sure you get the 65 RFE or the 545. Now, this is the 65, has the gray plug. Okay, the 545 has a white plug. That's the best way to identify it. All right, we can use both. I just need to know what year transmission and identify this plug. Now, this shifter arm and this bracket will not work. In our bill of material list, there's a part number for the right ones. This one here is like a little farther forward. This is the wrong setup, plus the cable won't fit, so you have to use the ones from our bill of material list, okay? If your shifter, to get your shifter to work properly, because the distance between here and here are different on a lot of these arms. They might look the same, but they're not. So, got to make sure that you get the proper cable bracket and arm, and they're in my build of material list, so that it shifts properly and everything lines up right. So also exhaust manifolds. Now this one doesn't have any on it because the truck manifold will not work. Here they are down here. So here's the truck manifolds. You can see this one's straight back. It goes right into the firewall. So the manifolds we use are for the Grand Cherokee. And they're in my build of material list. The left and the right you'll need. They work with my exhaust system. Now, if you get the truck engine, it comes with the manifolds. You can reuse the gaskets if they're good. You need the heat shields, okay? So you can reuse the heat shields, you can reuse the gaskets. You just need to use the proper manifold. Now, this engine didn't come with the transmission cooler lines. Now, the transmission cooler lines, we're using the factory ones from the truck. So from 2009 to 2018, transmission cooler lines are what you're gonna need. That's what we use. And then this one, like so many others, they're like bent up or gone or whatever. So you need to purchase these transmission cooler lines. Now on this engine, this is your average, 5.7 liter VVT Truck Hemi. All right. So this is a later model. Like I said, I think it's a 14. No power steering. So you can reuse the power steering pump from your Jeep. Now that's from 07 to 11 for the Wranglers. Now we have a bushing you'll need to purchase separately to reuse the pulley. So, and you'll need a belt, of course, because this belt is going to be too short. But now on this engine, has the right AC compressor because it doesn't have any wires coming out of the back. Now, if you have wires and a plug coming out of the back, that would be the wrong compressor, and you need to buy the earlier compressor, which was from 9 to 12, I believe. So, and it would resemble this one. It would look just like this one. And I think I can kind of get an idea. There's the part number to this one. So, you just got to make sure you get the right compressor because the wrong one will not work, obviously. This one will need to be modified so it'll fit in the power steering box. No manifolds on this side either. You need the starter, of course. You need, when you buy an engine, you need all the accessory drive. You need the intake manifold, of course, injectors, and so on. This is kind of the average engine that you'll need when you go to use for our kit. Okay, so you don't need the wiring, don't need the computer. You don't need the transfer case from the truck. So that's an extra expense that you don't need. So if you're buying an engine, that stuff you won't need. Now, this one here also had the motor to the back for the short runner intake was broken off. So this one needed to be purchased, had to buy another one. So that happens, either the chain broke it or whatever. But this is like your average, engine that you would get from a wrecking yard or whatever, and this will work. This is an engine, I don't know, they said it had 30,000 miles. It's a little dirty, but I mean, could have been from back east or wherever. But this is your average engine transmission setup that works in our Truck Hemi VVT kit, and this is the engine that you would use to make it carb legal. This is the carb legal engine and transmission that we use in our new carb kit. Now on the ground, a new harness that we're using, it's from Chrysler. New computer, AC lines, battery box, the transmission, cooler brackets, air cleaner brackets, our new one, the tranny mount. This is also to the battery box, a hold down, plate A, B, intake adapter, the steering column relocation, fuel line. These are all the parts that come in our kit that you need to put this engine in. So, these are all the bits and pieces. I guess there's one other piece too. This is the mount for the power steering reservoir. There's the bolt, the Allen bolt for the AC pump, which is in another video. The grommet, the bolts for the new air intake. We're also using a different reservoir that's not in this setup on the ground. It's a new coolant bottle reservoir that we're using now, which we also offer in our kit. So this is kind of a rundown of the things that you need to make this engine work. I mean, in the background that's sold separately is the fan shroud, which goes to the radiator. So the two radiators that we use, and we don't put the mounts on them if, let's say, you're buying your own radiator and you're going to try to make it work. This this fan shroud is steel, so you can weld to it. We can give you tabs and you can mount it to any radiator if you purchase your own. So, all right, a little rundown, and we're just kind of talking about the 5.7 liter Truck Hemi and the 545 and 65 RFE transmissions that we use in our VVT Truck Hemi kits, because we're constantly getting questions on what engine to buy, what transmission, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. This should answer it, and this makes it really simple because they sold and they have so many of these VVT Truck Hemis out there, because I think about every half-ton truck, I could say 70% had you know, truck Hemis. So it makes it easier, and they're, you know, usually you buy them between the price of $2,500 to about $4,000, engine and tranny. Now, but you just got to make sure you get all these parts, because you need them. You need the tranny dipstick, the engine dipstick, you need, you know, the cooler lines, you know, you need all this stuff. The less you have to purchase later, the better. So when you purchase an engine, you just got to make sure you have all the stuff. And here's kind of a demonstration of some of the things that you're going to need. All right, so hopefully this helps, and this will make my life easier and yours. So, all right, Jeep Speed Shop out.